Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we've got a backstage update on Triple H's NXT status.
A released NXT wrestler is taking shots at WWE.
The all-out main event has been set. I'm going to tell you who Kenny Omega's opponent is.
And we've got a stacked episode of Rampage airing tonight. Oh, it's the news time. That's what he does, isn't it?
I think it is.
We're in the office together.
We're in the same room on a morning news video. What the hell is going on? Double vaxxed, waxed, and something else that rhymes with axed. Anyway, we're going to kick things off by talking about Triple H. Triple H, obviously there's a lot of change going on in NXT at the moment. Vince McMahon has decided, I don't want those small old guys, I want those young big guys. They released a bunch of people last week, 13 wrestlers in total. Bad vibes, by all accounts, around NXT at the moment, but according to PW Insiders, Mike Johnson, Triple H is still the man in charge. He was running the show at this week's tapings, so it seems like he is going to be sitting in that seat, or he is still going to be pulling the strings. For now, at least. This is just me editorializing, by the way. Mike Johnson just confirmed he was running the show. But obviously, Triple H is the NXT founder. He's been the executive director for the brand's duration. He's overseen its transition to the sole developmental of WWE in 2012, to the super indie years and the takeover, breaking out of Full Sail University and everything else. He's been there. It's his pet project. It's his baby. And when you hear stories about Vince McMahon changing things up, you think, Triple H is going to be triple upset about this one. But no, seems like he's still the boy. Going to be interesting to see how things change for NXT going forward. But yeah, Triple H is there. I'm sure Shawn Michaels is over here, Road Dogg and whoever else, all his old boys in the seat. Remember that photo of them behind the computer? That's what it's like every single week, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, this one, because as much as it is Triple H's little baby, and it has been forever now that Vince is starting to get his little grubby fingers in there, you're just kind of waiting for that moment when it changes on TV and we actually see the differences. But I'm guessing we're going to have at least through to TakeOver of sort of business as usual, and then we might see some changes after that. But whatever those changes are in terms of the viewing experience of us watching it, it's going to be very interesting to find out.
It would have been quite funny actually this week. Like, obviously not funny because people would be booting off TV, but if suddenly it was just 12 7-foot wrestlers and no one else, just click of a button, the massive...
We got everyone, Johnny Gargano, off TV, go away, get out of here.
We've suddenly recruited 7 basketball players, okay.
All titles are vacant.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Again.
Karrion Kross is on Raw now, don't need that. Let's go.
But speaking of NXT and getting rid of some wrestlers, I guess, is that a transition? A released wrestler from NXT from the last round of cuts has been taking shots at WWE. And I love this. He put up, it's Bronson Reed, by the way, should probably get that out there in the first place. But he put up a clip of that Simpsons thing from an Itchy and Scratchy episode where Fat Elvis is shooting his TV going, this show just ain't no good. And he put it up, what time? Right slap bang in the middle of NXT last night. Absolutely loving it. He's obviously been angling to get a job somewhere else. He's been putting up tweets tagging AEW, New Japan, Impact, Ring of Honor, everywhere basically. And he's got loads of new t-shirts out on Pro Wrestling Tees as well if you want to go support him in this. But yeah, loving it, taking shots at WWE.
This stuff's fun. I say it all the time. People trading shots back and forth. Look, I liked it when Shotzi Blackheart took a shot at Chris Jericho for the mattress stuff, and I like it when it goes the other way as well. I just think this stuff is fun. And also on top of this, I think Bronson Reed probably has a right to feel a bit pissed off, right? He moves to the United States, he uproots his family, buys a house, he's popular on TV, he's getting a push, he seems set for a main roster run.
He has
after
his dark matches, it all seems set.
Yeah, he has these tryouts, and then suddenly it's like, no, don't need you anymore, and now he can't work for 30 days, and you know, he's got this mortgage, and maybe because he's Australian, maybe there are visa stuff as well. We hear this when people depart WWE about how WWE sorts visas. So there's all kinds of things, there's all kinds of reasons that guy could be annoyed. So fair play to him. I thought this was fun, and I hope he does it again.
Yeah,
because it's just good. I like watching the reaction coming in. I like watching the world burn me. All Out, right? The main event of All Out. Who the hell's it going to be? In the words of Todd Grisham, it's Christian. So I don't mean to bury Christian or anything, you know the bit. But Hangman Page obviously removed from that match. We thought it was going to be him and Omega, but he lost the 10-man tag, and Page seems like he's been written off for a while after last week's beatdown. But last night on Dynamite, it was revealed Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage, AEW World Title, All Out, set in stone. It's seemingly happening unless they do something wacky, but we'll talk about them doing something wacky in one of our questions later on in the video. But it was set in a big in-ring segment. The other match that was announced for All Out on this show, and this could be tasty, it was Pac versus Andrade, which is of course a continuation of Andrade being a little meddling person and trying to drive a wedge between Death Triangle, the Lucha Brothers and Pac. So on top of that, we also have the 21-person women's casino battle royale, which was announced when the show was announced. That's probably going to be where they debut Ruby Soho in her hometown, isn't it? But yeah, 3 matches on the All Out card so far. Christian Cage, he's in the main event. Hangman Page, he's probably, I don't know, waiting for his partner to give birth because I think she's due soon. Happy congratulations and all that stuff. But yeah, Christian.
Yeah, well, again, like you say, we'll talk about him doing something weird a little bit later on, but Andrade versus Pac, man, I think that's my favourite match on that card right now. So very much looking forward to that, and I guess you don't really need a huge main event on AEW All Out, because CM Punk's going to be there.
Yeah, and maybe Bryan Danielson as well. You know.
But yeah, speaking of Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage and the something strange that they have been doing, they are also putting it on Rampage tonight on the debut episode of AEW Rampage, and they are stacking up this card. Like I say, we've got Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega, but that's going to be for the Impact World title, not the AEW World title. We're also going to get Red Velvet versus Britt Baker for the Women's Championship, and we're getting Miro versus Fuego del Sol. I couldn't remember the first word for some reason. For the TNT title, and if Fuego del Sol wins that, he's going to get an AEW contract coming out of it. So 3 massive title matches for the debut episode of Rampage.
Yeah, absolutely. Fairly loaded this first card up. The Impact World title in that first match, that's going to be interesting. Interesting to see what comes of that. And then you got the women's title match. You got the Fuego thing is such... It's just a clever little bit of booking as well with his like rise in popularity and how like much of a cult favourite he's become on Dark and Dark Elevation.
And how Miro's going to destroy him.
Yeah, he's going to try and do his Tornado DDT and Miro's going to truck him. It's going to be really good. These first 2 episodes next week, we've probably got CM Punk showing up. So they are clearly... Absolutely. They're trying to establish this show as something big. It'll be interesting to see how many people watch it. It's a crap time slot, 10 p.m. on a Friday evening. But, you know, they're doing what they can to kind of get away from the perception straight away it's going to be a B show. Because if you book like 7 squash matches on it and it looks like an episode of Dark from day one, you're saying to people, you don't need to watch this show as much as you need to watch Dynamite. So, yeah, this looks good. I'm looking forward to all of the matches. Wrestling is good. And you know what else is good? Twitter questions. Those are good. The first one comes to us today from Alan Sale, who asks the following. Your thoughts on Kenny facing Christian twice, Rampage and All Out respectively. Love the hurly-burly content as usual. Well, I'm Hurley and Phil is certainly burly. Yeah, this is such an interesting thing, the idea that they're doing these 2 single matches one after the other so soon. Michael Hamflet posed a lovely fantasy booking scenario to me today, pointing out that in the promo last night, Christian Cage, he put over the AEW World title pretty big, but he didn't exactly put over the Impact title. He was like, oh yeah, there's that thing as well. I'll fight for that too. Maybe that sets up an Impact guy coming in on Friday because Christian's disrespected the belt, and maybe Christian is so hurt from that he can't compete at All Out. And this guy, Bryan Danielson, shows up and takes his place. But what do you reckon, Phil? What do you reckon?
Interesting. I do like that. I do think it's a little bit strange them putting those on and then immediately having the rematch like 2 weeks later on All Out for the Impact title. But it's also interesting with Christian, like last time he wrestled for the Impact's top title was the NWA title back in 2007. Yeah. So there's a lot of history that you can play off of Christian and Impact in there. But I like this idea of someone from Impact coming in. Maybe Sami Callihan or a Moose.
Yeah. Moose would be good, yeah. There's a few people you could use there. I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out indeed. Let's take a question here from Ashley, who asks the following. Morning, chaps. Once he's over his injury, can you see Will Ospreay, my Twitter friend, Will Ospreay, walking through the forbidden door? If so, where does he fit in? I think you can do anything with Will Ospreay, really, can't you? But for me, I would love to see them just like lean into the dream match aspect of it. No messing around, no fancy stuff. No, you don't need anything else. Just 20 minutes with a Pac, with a Kenny Omega, with an Andrade, with someone like that. I think that'd be tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if he is going to make the move across to American shores, AEW makes way more sense than WWE with we've just got to look at how they treated Ricochet in WWE, and Will Ospreay will probably be looking at that going, I'm kind of similar in their eyes, although he's changed up his game and put on a lot of weight since New Japan. But at the end of the day, he very much at the moment feels like a New Japan guy. He moved to Japan specifically to get this spot in New Japan, and he's put like all of his efforts into that. So I don't know if he's just, maybe he'll get the odd one in America, but I see him as a New Japan guy through and through now.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe the odd guest appearance here. And of course, when we say put on some weight, we mean the good way and not the Andy Murray in quarantine way. Don't mess. Bought and paid for. Final question today comes from Gutierrez from Costa Rica, who says, Saludos desde Costa Rica. I hope I've pronounced that right. Please correct me if I haven't. I'm an uneducated fool. We're idiots in the UK. We only learn one language. You learn a bit of French or whatever at school, and then you forget it when you're 13 because our education system is not... It's okay. Asks the following. With all the hype for Rampage, the first show, do you think it could be a good moment for the announcement of the Trios title? I absolutely do. I absolutely do. Extra hour of TV. You got the division there pretty much already. Let's do it.
Yeah, they've been building this for ages. It's about time they pull the trigger on it and get something in there. I just love a Trios tournament. I like just a Trios tournament. It'd be great if it was like held on Rampage. That'd be like weeks of TV. That'd be fantastic. And yeah, just Trios matches are just bloody good fun.
Yeah, and they do them so well as well. Like last night, the Kenny and the Young Bucks against Dante Martin. It was, I say against just Dante Martin because he was like the standout performer in the match. The Seidel brothers as well.
Yeah.
They do these style of matches so well. They've got so many stables and so many groups and everything else.
I was just going to say, in a faction-heavy system, it seems to make sense.
Perfect. And now you've got an extra hour of TV as well for them. I think it's... We speak about this every month, I feel, but make it happen, TK. And finally today, I just want to shout out Paul White's entrance music on Dynamite this week. It's perfect. It's so perfect. You know, when he came into AEW, we made all these jokes about what they're going to do for the theme because it's such an important part of his act. Well, it's the big show. Is it going to be, well, it's Paul? No, man, we just got the vocalist. They brought in the vocalist from his last WWE theme to go, well, and then, oh. It's just a great example of the genre. It's immediately synonymous with him. It's a riot. It's a hoot. He's going to squash QT Marshall in a minute and a half. We're all going to have a good time, and I think we're going to be singing well all day. It's a good time.
Well, it's the butt rock.
It
should be no BR butt rock on the thing.
We love butt rock in the WhatCulture office, and let us know in the comments section your favorite butt rock artist. Yesterday morning, me and Michael Sidgwick on our own in the office, 9:20 in the morning, listening to Godsmack. So we were actually listening to their seminal and intellectual classic Crying Like a Bitch. 2 exclamation points as well on that one. So thank you for joining us.
You know that series.
Yeah, they're not messing. Don't mess with Godsmack, guy. Yeah, cool. Thanks. Send us your Twitter questions. Follow us on Twitter. WhatCulture falling apart. WhatCulture WWE. You can find Phil on Twitter at
Phil My Chambers, and you can find Andy.
You can find me at Andy H Murray. The H stands for Hyrax. Today's word of the day, which is a small rodent-like ungulate.
Cool. I am going to use that 3 times today.
Yeah, I'm going to go off this video and batter that Hyrax Michael Hamflet. See you later. Bye.